Hello, I'm back with more questions. This time they're not really so much for just Dawn, but you know, in Summer's case, why is it that Ronnie will not accept help from the internet? He won't let people help search, and it, it, it can't be because it's a terrain. Because Evelyn Boswell lived in the same area. Carly lived in the same area, and people are allowed to search. I mean, look who found Carly Trent, right? Coincidence? I don't think so. But and the time period, which a lot of us didn't realize at the time that Ronnie was also dealing with his son perpetrating some horrendous crimes on some children in his jurisdiction. Now, if you look at, say, Don Sharkey Jr., not that it is less relevant, but his crimes, from what I know, were done over the internet, and it was done with photography. Brandon Lawson was 4 counts of physically tampering with a child. I don't know off the top of my head the exact charges, but I know he had sexual interaction with very minors. And Sheriffy got 6.5 years. Brandon got 20 years suspended, 1 year served. How is that? Why is that? Why is it when Megan Boswell was missing, the sheriff's department, which is very closely related to Hawkins County, matter of fact, like it's the borderline, same terrain, they praised the help from the internet. And a lot of other cases have praised the internet for helping, because honestly, the internet and people on the internet have found some pretty miraculous things that help close a lot of cold cases that there hadn't been any movement on for years. But in Hawkins County, the internet is a detrimental tool. The people are, less than certified to fill out that application as Pruitt. But, like, I've never seen a bunch of cockier, arrogant, indignant assholes. Quite honestly. Like, because you became a cop in a little tiny county in Tennessee, you're the highest educated individual. Your decision making is not to be questioned because you're of superiority. First and foremost, let's keep it what it is. You are an elected official. And you're elected, well, generally speaking, I'm not so much Hawkins County and my knowledge so far, is a process that, we the people elect certain people to represent us and our beliefs and our morals and things like that, and to also protect us from bad things. That doesn't seem to be what's happening here. Here you have a pompous dimwit who doesn't even have enough decency or respect for his constituents to give them a knowledgeable, informative, detailed report on this missing girl. I realize some things are not released but you take any missing person case, especially a young child, with the different criteria that this one needs. I mean, Christ, how many child molesters are in her vicinity, and her parents' history, and the drug industry there, and a few other things that make it, in my opinion, way more viable than most missing children. This dude don't want to do anything except for make snide remarks on, when he does his press. Even your press conferences, like, you think, there you go. I mean, I'm not going to compare you to Grady Judd because, he's just untouchable. You can only wish that somebody like that would wind up in Hawkins County. But say your average county sheriff, he would get up on that podium and he would give us what legally you're allowed to release to us, and, a progress report per se on what is taking place in this case. It's been 2 years. We've not got any answers whatsoever. You refuse help from different agencies who, come in and try to help. You refuse civilian companies that have been doing this line of work for a long time out of their pocket. But the one thing that you do want to give a detailed report on is how many hours overtime you have put in. Doing what? If there's nothing moving, there's no new evidence, you're not questioning anybody, where are you spending all this overtime? What is it, in fact, that you're doing? I mean, besides padding the bill. But that's what you're used to doing out there, aren't you, Ronnie? Because that's Ronnie's little corner of the world. And now I guess, you want to hand it off, you got your brother in there, you got your friends in there, like, you got your son as deacon already, like, who's to say you're not going to try to get his shit expunged and make him an officer of the law out in that county, because I would not put it past you. From the get-go, you should not have been on this case. There is too many conflicts of interest. 1, you're related to Don. 2, your son, you know what I mean? Like, that right there, there's no way in hell you should have been handling any kind of child molestation case during that time. At all. And the degree that you have is pathetic. And I honestly am one of the people who signed that petition to get you out. At the very least, have another agency come in and take your case from you and put a couple fresh set of eyes on it and see if we can't get it moving. But I am under belief, at least in my opinion, that besides the conflicts of interest, you have hands in things in this county. And it definitely looks as if you do. People have made statements that you do. Based on what I've seen, I believe you do. And you should not be in a position to make any official decisions. Especially somebody who could have people locked up, not locked up, shot. You know what I mean? Come on. Like, and you're a little hothead. The most intelligent man in the world thinks he's a dumbass. And when somebody tries to explain something to him, or, tells him there's a better way, the first thing he does is pay attention and listen. A fool thinks he knows everything. A fool thinks he has more experience and, this, that, than anybody, and refuses to take assistance or, even listen to an idea that is not yours. If what you're doing isn't working, I mean, come on, honey, like, you're finding this missing kid is about as accurate as you saying there's no drug problem in Hawkins County. And the funny thing is, I was reading the other night, because I do it all the time now, Ronnie, because you're making me pay attention to things I ain't got no. This kid is hundreds of miles away from me. But you can't not get involved once you hear some of this shit, because it is just so ridiculous. Like, this baby had no chance from when she was born. You would think that in this situation that at least the local law would, to the fullest of their power, do anything and everything to ensure her safety and, to discover her whereabouts. Nope. That's what happened. I mean, who's been questioned? I've not heard anybody, and you got Jody Sue, you got Fred Hill, you got Andy Bernard, Allie. Well, Hunter was questioned, I know that, but was Allie? Was Sherry? Was, you know what I mean? All these people that were frequent flyers with this kid, and the majority of people have never been asked a single question. How? Like, how do you justify that? But yet, in the same token, you want to justify all these hours and this astronomical amount. I mean, these guys even, like, finagled your way into taking away this kid's reward fund. The one thing that might inspire somebody who, might be having a hard time in life right now, financially or whatever, and might just know somebody who, and I even said it like jokingly to them or whatever, but actuality is that's the person who did or whatever. You took away the incentive. You took away the bargaining chip for self gain. While, kind of coincidental, you don't have a drug problem in Hawkins County. The article I read the other night, Ronnie, right off the bat, I think it was 32 people arrested, something like that. But I would say 7 out of the first 15 were lawsuits. What do you think? You don't have a methamphetamine problem if all your family's on it because you think you have them under control? Obviously you don't. Obviously you definitely don't. But you don't give a shit because you're making your real estate deals and you're padding your pockets and you're padding your boys' pockets and you're padding your brother's pockets and padding everything else but poor Sumner. She could be, and Pruitt says he's under the belief that she's close by. Why are you not turning shit upside down? Why are you not grabbing people for the dumbest little shit they have open? I mean, a parking ticket that's not paid, or, a child support payment, or something that you could be pulling these people in, shaking them up to the point where they're like, shit, I got my shit going on. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to, my kids to be involved in this, any of this stuff. And you ain't doing any of that. None of it. I am going to do some more research. But are you familiar with Noah's Law? I think a few people might want to give that a gander. And then I think you also might want to go on Tennessee State website and, check out a few of their laws referring to missing people and their guidelines, recommendations, acceptances, and allowances for civilian assisted missing person searches, especially when the person is considered endangered. And in order to get an Amber Alert the next day, there had to be something that made you think this kid was in danger. I mean, of not just being gone from her house, lost, or whatever, like as if somebody had her, or you knew something that was bad. But if you look on these websites, they will tell you, ordinance, statute numbers, all this stuff. Um, Break it down into, layman's terms per se. Or you can go on to, there's another one called Justa. It's a website for paralegals and attorneys, and you can't get all the way in. You know, um, but you can get a lot of information there that you don't find other places. So you're making knowledgeable speculation. It's not so, pulling, grasping straws and things. The more I learn, and I will get into why I've learned about the balls soon, but I don't want to shade Summer. I've made that comment several times, and I mean it. If this does continue much longer at this standstill, then I will. But, don't just take officials' word for things. Look what we're dealing with. And he is not the only court-appointed official, elected official, person in authority to misuse his authority and to misguide the public for self-gain. So I would suggest that you go check out Noah's Law, the Tennessee state website for statutes, zones, regulations, and, basically like Google, just put whatever you want up into the search engine and just keep refining it until you get to where you want to go. It's very easy to maneuver around. And the Justa Law books. Justia. But most importantly, go sign the petition to have Ronnie's authority removed in this situation at the very least. But I would also suggest that each and every one of you did whatever the general public can do to ensure that he is either forced to resign or voluntarily resigns. There is no justifiable reason why that man is sitting in authority, especially in light of the indifference that he has shown towards Summer Wells and this situation, and knowing that his son was in the prosecution stages of the same exact crimes. Look at the way Evelyn was handled and Carly. Look at the all the big pomp and shit, the bells and whistles when they brought Carly out of the woods, and, little Lawson was there, and roll out the fucking band and shit, right? What happened between that time period and that and Evelyn were, I think Carly was 2016, Evelyn was 2019, I believe. December was Evelyn, and I want to say May was Carly, but it's a matter of less than 10 years. What laws have changed that the whole search thing is completely different? Or what makes Summer less worthy of the response that Evelyn and Carly got? Why is she denied the same attentive, responsive protection that any of us are supposed to be entitled to? But better yet, why is, not just me, but why are people even asking that question? If you're in a relationship and you're sitting there going through your significant other's phone and you find something you don't like, that's not the problem. When you felt the need to pick that phone up and go through it, you already don't trust them. So cut. So why are we accepting it from what we elect and pay to protect and serve us? And especially these babies. I mean, right now, in my opinion, nothing certified or, and I'm not making any accusations, but I believe that most of the methamphetamine manufacturing that is going on in Hawkins County is beyond known, accepted, and even protected. Because I believe he has hands in it. He has hands in a lot of things that he ought not to. And it's looking like not only the methamphetamine franchise, but this kid stuff, man. There's too many of them there, and there's too many that feel completely comfortable in that surrounding. And science has proven, hands down, it's learned behavior. Where'd your son learn it, Ronnie? Did you teach him that at church? Right before you lined him up with little kids to access? Coincidentally, church is held in his house. Oh, because that doesn't make for a precarious situation for these little kids. And you want to talk about, you know, it's already hard enough for these kids if this shit happened to them to say something to an adult because, first, they don't tend to believe them. Second, they face repercussions because, the perpetrator is like mom's boyfriend or whatever and convinces her, like, the normal bullshit. But the kid goes through that, says something, and then it is, of all places, Sunday Bible school. And here comes Mr. Groper. Didn't get taken away to jail. Didn't get punished for what he did to you. If anything, you got shunned and, passed off to the corner because, don't talk about that and da-da-da-da-da, or possibly even called a liar because that's what most people who, fuck with little kids like that, they, convince everybody that the kid's got emotional problems and is lying. Because, after all, I'm the sheriff and the deacon. Why would I, first off, lie to you or misguide you about your child's mental health, let alone either myself or my son or, people of like mind not be assaulting these kids while they're at church. Because while you're there, even if you don't say a word to them, those kids that you just like, what's the matter? Your wife wasn't available, Brandon? It's not enough, like, fucking bitches throwing panties around for nothing. You can't go to the store without some bitch trying to, like, throw fucking panties at you, and you feel the need to take advantage of little kids. That's just, I lose words for it. I get so tongue-tied, and thinking of what that child is feeling in that situation, and knowing it. It's not a guess. I know what's going through the kid's head. And I know what and who you are, how you work. And that's a horrible thing for any kid to have to endure. You guys are, it's hard for most kids to thrive after something like that happens to them, but you got them trapped right back in the same spot. Like, they have no fucking relief because of you. Where's their peace? Where's their sanctuary? Because it's sure it's fucking in your church, dude. I'm going to remain calm. As hard as it is, I'm going to remain calm because I don't want to have anybody acting out so people can say, see, look, look, look. Because this is such an important friggin' issue all the way across the board. From the conflicts of interest to the interaction with known manufacturers and the religion aspect of it and your authority even in the church and your leniency with your son and apparently your ability to call in favors with judges and other people. You brought a special judge in to make this fucking decision, so he's dirty too, right? There's a whole line of people that had actions in all these situations that were illegal, immoral, and deplorable. But you want to look down your nose and make snide remarks like, as one, you're above anybody, two, you're smarter than anybody, and three, that you're upholding your job to the best of your abilities, which none are fucking true. None. Like, show us something of merit. Show us something that your officers under your direction have done to be a positive to your surrounding area in the position you're sitting in. Now, I firmly believe also that even if we were able to get another agency in here, after 2 years, what evidence hasn't been compromised because of their incompetence? I mean, come on, what do you think evidence is going to be left besides, pictures or whatever that they took? You think they're going to release them willingly? You think they're going to participate in an investigation that somebody else has authority over? And God forbid somebody, looks at their timesheets, because how are they going to justify all these hours? I think they should have to go through a complete, full audit of everything they've done from beginning to end. And not just in Summer's situation. I mean, look at some of the arrests. How about the fact that here's a real fucking valid point. How about Carly's uncle dying in jail? Kind of like Cotton has popped into this subject. I would not, and it's a shame that I can say this, but I would not doubt that that man wasn't set up. I mean, he had nothing, he had nobody, and how hard would it be to say, he did it. And he didn't hurt her, or, to my knowledge, molest her. And that man sat in jail for, a year and a half or so before he died. And you did nothing with processing that part of the case either. But that check was cashed, right, Ronnie? That check was cashed with the quickness. I think they ought to cash your check in, buddy. You should be held responsible for your complete and utter friggin' negligence.